What does it cost to translate a typical listing? I'm sure that there's a range depending on the complication or maybe the number of words on the page if your description's really long or your UBC is really elaborate. But in general, what's like the upfront cost you would have to translate it into French or German?
So I would turn around and say, and this is something based on my experience, I've seen some clients paying about £500 for translating in 5 languages, which equates to something like £100 per country, depending on the product, of course,
right.
that they are launching, or actually even something lesser than that, to just for you to launch. Now, if you asked me from a budget point of view, if you were going to be looking at launching into Europe, you are talking about something like less than $5,000 or pounds to launch into Europe for you to get ready and go.
So that's like to get your VAT number set up and work with someone like you to do your annual filings and any other paperwork and administrative stuff that's necessary.
That's correct, and including shipping as well.
Gotcha.
That's including shipping as well.
Okay. So, I mean, there must be some sort of size that you need to be that, threshold to where it becomes economical, right? I mean,
yeah.
What does someone need to be doing in sales, again, generally? Because like your stuff might sell better in Europe than it does in the US, maybe magically, or maybe it just doesn't do well. But like in general, I mean, if someone's doing, is it $1 million in the US or $5 million? At what point does it become, okay, it's going to be worth it for me to pay to get these listings translated, pay to get, someone like you guys to help set things up, pay to ship to get the stuff there, get to pay the VAT? What's like kind of the minimum threshold you should be looking at before it makes sense?
Yeah. So if a seller came to me and said, Melanie, I want you to navigate for me to whether you think it's the right time for me to sell in Europe. It's for us, it's not about the dollar to charge you a fee and then, here you go, launch. You're going to have to be pragmatic. If you started just selling in the US in January and you're thinking that I'm doing well in the US, my sales are tracking for, say, 500,000, that is absolutely fantastic. And if you've got that ambition, that's great because I'm going to be able to support you on that. But the question is, do you have enough experience and do you have enough capacity for you to be able to take on a new market? That's number one. Do you have enough capital for you to launch in a new marketplace? And the reason why I'm saying that is because the least you want to do is to go and launch and then you run out of inventory because you don't have enough capital. That would be a waste of time because you're going to be one of the painful sellers that I don't want to deal with just because that you don't have enough capital to get you off the ground.
Yep.
Or you are below $1 million. Ideally, I would turn around and say the moment you hit at least your first $1 million, that's when I would seriously be looking at the fact that you've set the ground rules there, you've gained the experience in the US market or in the UK market if you're here in the UK and you're going to be expanding into the US. So you've got that knowledge and you've solidified the capital. You know that you've got money trickling through, you've got a budget. And when you're going to be launching in either marketplaces, you will know exactly that at least my target is that whatsoever that I receive from the UK or from US, depending which market you've started to launch with, at least I want 60 to 70% of that. That's what I expect to gain from the other marketplaces. So which means you're going to be almost doubling your income. So personally, I would turn around and say $1 million makes sense. If you're below $1 million, or you're below 500,000, you're going to definitely have a hard time, unless, of course, you've got a lot of capital that is floating about and you're going to be able to do a full launch. So which means you're not going to be sort of frustrated with your resources and capital that's available.
Gotcha. It makes a lot of sense. And for us, I mean, sales wasn't really the problem. It was having it be profitable. Maybe, I kind of asked the question earlier and you got something you sell for $25, it costs you 10. Maybe it costs more like $5, hopefully. But whatever the numbers are, by the time we paid to ship product from the United States, basically a second time, because it was coming from China first, ship it then to the UK or to the EU, pay the VAT up front. Like, I'm trying to remember the process. I think we got that money back eventually. Deal with currency translation, conversion, and just the administration fees of having someone, paying a agency to do that, paying to translate stuff. Again, sales were never really an issue. We were selling stuff, but we couldn't quite raise our prices enough to offset the additional costs. So, I mean, where maybe was I going wrong, or have things changed now to make it more economical?
So nothing has changed except for the fact that it's your accounting now and bookkeeping skills that needs to come into play,
right,
where you need to make sure that you've got a proper cost analysis. And you're actually talking about something, or you mentioned something that is very ever so important that most people, they actually miss out. So here you are, you're launching into Europe, you are selling, but there's no money that's going back home. So you could operate easily on a negative equity, and that's not what you want to do. So your cost analysis, that is one that is very important. And I'm going to make an example. So somebody is looking to launch a product. She comes to me. She said, I need you when you are least busy. And I'm saying it's a Saturday. So let's work together on the book launch that you're going to be launching in a diary. And it's absolutely fantastic. So she's come up with those fee that's or charge that they're going to be charging, which is the cost of the book. And she comes up with Amazon fees, which is an estimate, never sold in Europe,
right,
which is an estimate. She comes up with shipping costs. So I said, let's see your cost analysis. Now, what we need to consider on your cost analysis is how much does it cost you to manufacture the product? And from there, what's your shipping cost from the manufacturer to a third-party warehouse? When you're done with that, what is it that's going to be costing you on duties and sales tax or VAT? And if you're going to turn around and say, I'm going to be buying at cost at £10 or $10, and I will be selling at $20, chances are you're just going to make a loss straight away. I know for a fact that you will be making a loss.
Yep.
Why? Because you think that if the cost is £10 and you're going to be selling for £20, you're going to be making a profit. Most of that's going to be going because the VAT, it's included on the retail value of the product, right? So you've got VAT, you've got duty. Import VAT is fine because import VAT is refundable, so you are fine. And the duty, again, it depends on the classification code or HS code, we may call it. So that could be anything between 0% to 9%. Yeah, based on the cost of the product plus shipping and incidental cost and insurance. So, and again, you've got the insurance of the product. These are small costs based on £10. It's not going to be suddenly you're not going to be charged £5 for insurance on the product. It's going to be a small. Chances are it's going to be 50p, or 50 cents. That's how much you're going to be charged. The duty is going to be maybe another 50 cents. And then you've got VAT on the product, which probably is going to be another, I would turn around and say maybe £1.60. So you're coming down to around £5, and you're still going to be paying for Amazon PPC on the product to make it visible.
And so they're 15% and the shipping and everything else.
Exactly. You've got FBA fees. So I know that we're talking about maybe pennies now per product, but I would turn around and say, have a clean cost analysis and don't make up figures because it suits you. If suddenly you're going to minus £2, be realistic on that. And that's what we discovered because she had turned around and said, the shipping is going to be X amount of money. The shipping was double. So, which means she was so much in love with the product that she was looking to launch that she actually forgot the fact that there are real costs here. When now you're talking about launch, you're talking about real costs. Yeah. I would rather you overinflate them by 10% or 20% of what you think it's going to be, rather than underestimate that. And you know what? The launch didn't happen. It crashed and burned. Why? She was angry. She was angry for the fact that we had given her the real situation, which she wasn't expecting. And that's somebody's dreams that have been crushed because she'll never launch that product. So what do? You need to compare as well with other sellers. That if you're turning around and say, I'm going to be launching this bottle of still water, if it's on sale on Amazon for $10, you can't turn around and say, once you've done the costing, it comes to the point whereby it's $20, then you're going to launch yours at $20, unless it's going to be bringing forth something that is totally different. So suddenly I'm just going to be looking at it, it's going to jump in my mouth and I'm going to start drinking it. That's unique, isn't it? Doesn't happen. So you need to make sure that honestly you are realistic, but compare with other products as well, as far as like how much are they launching, selling for, and the quality that is there, and just be real.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the same thing applies in our market over here in the U.S. And we talk to people about this all the time. I mean, the costs. You buy something for $10 and sell it for $20, you're going to lose money. I mean, by the time you add in Amazon's fees and other true costs, because like, I mean, that's not probably your true landed cost. There's other things that you don't think about. You got to be buying something for 10 and selling it for at least 30, but realistically more like 40 to have a good profitable business. And same thing goes here. Yeah,
definitely. I would say, if just off my head, if you were going to be launching a product that costs £10, I would look at launching it at least at 40 or 45 for you to be able to make profit, because the VAT is going to be included on that product.
Right.
So you've got another 20% on here, depending what product it is. Other people, they sort of like tend to think that VAT is too expensive. You can't have a discount on VAT. So if you don't want to sell products that have got VAT, I would say look at those products that don't attract VAT, like baby clothing. And again, be careful with the ages as well, because the VAT is not payable up until a certain age. Or if you're going to be selling educational material, that is absolutely great. There's no VAT on there. So chances are you're not going to be paying import VAT. You're not going to be paying any duties. Or if sometimes there are duties, which is a really small amount, and you ship your product over into Europe, and you continue selling. You declare to the government the fact that you're going to have to be VAT registered, because if you aren't VAT registered, Amazon is going to assume, because marketplaces have been made to be jointly liable for VAT. So which means either in the event you are not VAT registered, the marketplace is being made liable. So they don't want to do that. So chances are, if you're not VAT registered, they're going to shut down your account and assume that you don't want to be compliant. Yet your product actually doesn't need to be VAT registered. It's just it's a tick box exercise.